Hi there and welcome to Thursdays with Annette. I'm in the kitchen, I've got my apron on and I'm going to be making you a fabulous recipe from book 4. That's right, it's in the party food section in book 4. So it's party time and I'm going to be making for you today the mini quiches. So I'm going to be making the pastry and the filling. So sit back, relax and get ready because I am excited about making this recipe for you because who doesn't love a little mini quiche? It's fabulous, young and old love them. Now last week you totally loved the apple strudel that I made, our first one back for the season, and we had 3 lucky winners, and those gorgeous ladies are Lynn Lake, Tina Fredericks and Donna Palmer. So you girls are all getting a signed copy of book 1. Yay! All right, so let's look at the ingredients we need for the mini quiches. So you need 125 grams of the bacon shortcut. So make sure it's the shortcut because that's the really fatty, it has no fat on it. What am I saying? It's the real meaty part of the bacon, and that's what we want. You've got a cup of skim milk, half a teaspoon of garlic we need. You need a couple of 3 tablespoons of the Kraft Parmesan. You need 4 eggs, a quarter of a cup of freshly chopped parsley, half a cup of freshly grated low-fat cheese, and that's your filling. Now for the pastry, because we've got 2 things to do today, so it's going to be busy, we've got 1 1/4 cups of plain flour. But what I do, because I don't like a really hard pastry, I actually put in this one a half a cup of self-raising flour, and it just lightens the pastry up a little bit, and I think it really works a treat. You're also going to have an egg white. You want a 1/3 cup of skim milk, 30 grams or 2 tablespoons of Floralite margarine melted, and I've just melted it now, and I've got a little bit of extra flour over there just for the rolling and all that sort of stuff. So let's make the filling first and then we get into the pastry. So that's great. So we start with the eggs. Alrighty, so we have 2 egg whites. And this is just such an easy recipe, and I think you'll find, you'll want to make it even just for easy lunches. Don't just keep it for parties. So we've got the 2 egg whites. See, this is where I'm saving the fat because I don't need all those egg yolks in it. Now I'm going to put in 2 whole. I always start with the egg white first in case it actually happens to slip out by accident. I know then I can save it with the other 2. And another whole one. So there is our 4 egg whites, 2 and the 2 yolks in there. So we beat them up. And it's really one of those the base with the pastry. I think you might find you could use it for lots of other types of dishes that you want to do. So now that's combined, I'm going to pour in the milk. Great. And next we just add in everything. That's how hard it is. So in goes the bacon. Now because it takes a while to do this, I kind of just went ahead and chopped up the bacon. You can see it's little diced bacon, and I just fried it off with some cooking spray. So, oh, we missed a couple of bits. So I did that just to save time. 3 tablespoons of the finely grated Parmesan, half a cup of freshly grated. I really want you to use freshly grated. I don't particularly like the pre-grated. It always seems a bit hard. And it's the low fat. You've got the 1/4 cup. I also rushed ahead and did the parsley because we all know how to chop it up. And then half a teaspoon of garlic. So let's just get half a teaspoon of that. Perfect. Now let me get rid, we don't need any of these anymore. Into my soapy sink, and then just mix them together. We're done. Yeah. So now what we'll do is we'll come back to this a little bit later when we're ready to do the filling. So I'm going to put that just there. I'm going to wipe this because I want to use it for the pastry, and we're going to do that now because I really think pastry kind of freaks me out a little bit. I don't know why. I've just got this thing Whereas Bill, he's so good at doing it that I just let him do it. So I think that's what I do. I cop out. But today I'm doing it after 2 years of this show. My first pastry, bake off. So I'm going to start first though with the cooking spray. I want to get the little muffin tins ready. So just go around them. And this is one of the little tricks that I found works really well with a recipe like the mini quiches, is that you use the muffin tin opposed to like, what do you call those little patty tins? And that way you get the edge up of the quiche, and it sort of gets the filling sitting in it beautifully. So I think it works a treat. All right, so we start first with the flour. Now, I probably should sift it, yes. Because I'm using 2 different flours, it is really good to sift it ahead. But when you start, do it now. Mixing the 2 together. And this is not hard to do, honestly. I just think that for me, it's just one of those things that I haven't done a lot. But when I do it, I go, why don't I do this more? Why do I feel like pastry is something that is really hard to do? When, not my way anyway, because it's super easy. Okay, so now, then what we do is we're going to combine the milk and another egg white. There we go. Perfect. Get your little whisk or a fork. Mix that up, because what this is the dry mix, and now I'm doing the wet mix. And then when you've got the melted margarine done, remember it was 30 grams or 2 tablespoons, then just combine them. I always put the milk into the butter or the margarine, because I find we make sure we get all of it that way. Just what I do. All right, so we don't need this anymore. All right, so now what we do, and I've got my gloves on because I don't like getting the pastry under my nails or in my rings and that. Pour it in, and then just combine. That's it, folks. I know. And if you wanted to make, so this is a savoury one. If you wanted to make a sweet one, well then all you have to do is use a little bit of sugar into the pastry, into the flour when you're doing it. Add the little bit of sugar and you're good to go. All right, so now what I'm going to do is move this. I want to sprinkle some flour down, because I'm going to mix this up in a minute. You have to get your hands in and really push that flour into the wet mix. That's it. Perfect. Move that out of the way. Now, what I want to do, because you're making 24, I find it easier than having to roll this all out, is I actually cut it in half and work out half the amount. So I do 12 first, like here in my little dish. So let's just, and I have to weigh it first, don't I? So I'm going to weigh it, 421, so that would mean it's like 210. Let me see. That's probably the best one. All right, so we're going to now roll out and get 12 circles. And I'm using my little cutter here, and I've got the flour to dip it into, and I've got my rolling pin. All right, so let's spread it out. Always make sure you've got flour on the base so that it doesn't stick. I might just add a little bit more. Where'd I put it? And just judge it that it's quite thin. I've preheated my oven to 180 degrees, so it's all ready for the little mini quiches. And we're just moving that out. So I'm trying to judge how I'll get enough of the circles to do 12. So keep pushing it out. It's quite thin, the pastry. You don't want it super thick. Here we go. And, you know, I did a bit of research about the old quiche Lorraine, and I found out that the quiche obviously is French, okay, we know that, but it's actually originated in the province or the region called Lorraine, and that's why it's called quiche Lorraine. All right, so now I'm going to look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I'm going to just do a tiny bit more because I think then I'm good. That's a bit of a workout. So then we go right to the edge and cut them away from the pastry so that you know that they've separated. So counting for me, how many is that? 3, 4, 5, 6. Keep flouring your little scone cutter, and it's about an 8-inch one, so it's a big one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can I get one there? No, I can't. All right, that's great. We've got. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the rest of the pastry, and we're going to roll it out and make the rest of them. So how many more do we need? 1, 2, 3. Yep, we need 3 more. So I'm just moving them. Because I think it's easier then you just, once you've rolled it out, then you just put them all into the muffin tin. I'll show you that as well. So we've made the ingredients, so that's great. Just get that, work that, ply it a bit. And we need 4 more. So just remember it's got to be thin. Yeah, and so just this cutter is about an 8 centimetre cutter, if you're just wondering what I've used. I mean, you could use a glass, you know, if you've got one that's, if you don't have an actual cutter. It doesn't matter what it is, just it's more the size because you need to be able to get a little bit over the edge. So let's do this. We need 4 more. And remember then what you do, if you have 2 muffin tins, well that's awesome because you can make them all at the same time. But I think for a lot of us, we only have 1 muffin tin, and so you might then just have to do this 12, cook it off, and then do it all over again with the last batch. I've actually got a quiche Lorraine, like a proper big quiche Lorraine in book 2, which is awesome. And mini quiches, it's probably one of those dishes that if you're at a party and someone's walking around with quiches, little mini quiches, we all want some, don't we? It's very popular. All right, so let's see how I'm going here. Whoop, wrong side. Dipping it in. 1. I think I might have to do it one more way. Okay. 1 more. Oh my gosh, Annette. 1 more. Let's push it out. I think it's an easier recipe to make when nobody's watching you either. So, sorry, what was that? Yes, it's the mini quiches we're making today, guys. So this is why you're cutting them out and making these beautiful little quiches. So now this is what I love. It really makes it fantastic. You'll get your piece of pastry and you just put it in to your muffin tin, and if you can see there, you can see how it has a deepness to it because of the muffins holding it up, the muffin edge, and that's great because you've got the filling, the wet filling to go in, so it gives you more of that beautiful egg mix. There we go. And I find another little thing is if you're like me and you've got your nails happening, you know, I do love my nails, that you are better to have the gloves on when you're doing this, because I found sometimes when I used to do this, I'd actually cut the pastry with my nails. So that's not ideal, so the gloves are a great idea. All right, so we've got the 12 that we're doing first, and as I said, we will repeat all of this again. Oh, I've done one too many, have I? Oh, boo, Annette. Aren't I silly? I could have made them a little bit thicker. All right, so there, let's have a look. There's our cups, our pastry cups. And now what we do is we get the filling. Give it a good mix up because the cheese and the bacon would have settled a bit. Now the key here is just get a little bit of the cheese, a little bit of the bacon in it, and then pour it in. That's it, perfect. Just, make sure you've got a little bit of bacon, a little bit of cheese going into each one, because otherwise they'll be cranky if someone says, I didn't get much bacon in my quiche. And you just pour the mix in. Now you've got your oven on 180 degrees, fan forced. It's going to take about 25 minutes or so for you to get them all cooked and fabulous, and they puff up a little bit. They're just beautiful. If you wanted to make them vegetarian, just omit the bacon. You could maybe add instead some diced capsicum maybe, or just make them plain. Just adding that filling in. Yum. Remember, this is one of the recipes out of the party food section. It's awesome. So here we go. There's all my filling done. I'm a little bit impressed with myself right now. It looks great. Yeah, all right, so in the oven. As I said, about 25 minutes. And then leave them in the dish, in your tray, just for a little while to let them settle, and then get a sharp knife to help cut them out with the pastry. So you lift them up and they're fabulous. They can be served warm, hot or cold. You can have them as a pick-me-up. You can have them with salad. But, excuse me, can I get a drum roll, please? Do you know what a traditional mini quiche is? 20 grams of fat and about 350 calories. I know, but hello, what's Annette's mini quiches? 3 grams of fat each and only 78 calories. I know, you're welcome. Now, I mean, when you look at these beautiful quiches, I actually can show you them cooked because I decided to make some ahead because I could, and here we go. Look at that. There's your beautiful mini quiches out of book 4 in the party food section. I mean, who knew that weight loss could be so deliciously healthy? I know, it's called having a quiche and enjoying it. And even men now embrace quiche. So that's fantastic. Now, if you would like to win book 4, yes, you know you do, you have to just like the page. You have to share, and then in the comments, hello, hashtag Simply Too Good. So remember the hashtag with the SY. I'm not an SI. Simply number 2 good. And then I'll pick 3 fabulous winners like I did last week, and they will get a personally signed copy. Now, for next week's show, I'm going to be chatting to you. I'm going to be out of the kitchen. I'm going to be talking about winter weight loss tips, because this could be a time when you could really kick it to get ready for that bikini body. Okay, well, let's just get ready for summer. Okay, I'll talk to you next week. And don't forget, if you want any more recipes or tips, go to www.simplytoogood.com.au. And thanks for joining me today. Bye.